Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding to the seat and right protocol.
Just come off. No. That's right. Deputy Lieutenant, honoured guests, councillors, good evening and welcome to everyone this evening. Please can I firstly announce apologies for this evening's meeting. Apologies have been received from councillors Bufo, Clementson, Miller and Pauser. Can I advise that this meeting is being audio recorded and live streamed from the website. It can be found next to the meeting's details, where the recording will remain thereafter. A video of this meeting will also be recorded and will be updated to the Council's YouTube channel later this week. Are there any disclosures of interest to be made regarding the business before us tonight? Thank you. The next item of business is the election of the 823rd Mayor of Winchester to hold office until the next annual meeting of the Council. I therefore call upon the proposer for the Mayor, Councillor Martin Todd. Councillor Todd.
Deputy Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, honoured guests and fellow councillors, it is a great pleasure and honour to be able to propose that my friend and colleague, Councillor Derek Green, is elected as the 823rd Mayor of the City of Winchester for the coming municipal year. Derek is a Winchester man through and through. Born in the Royal Hampshire County Hospital, educated at Stanmore Primary School and Montgomery of Alamein School. He then joined the Navy 2 days before his 16th birthday, and then after his service came back to Winchester to work as a steward in the Buffaloes Club, as a milkman, as a taxi driver, as a bus driver, as a coach driver, and for the last 19.5 years working at Tesco's. The one thing they all have in common is that none of them have involved working on a regular 9 to 5. And it's typical of Derek that he's taking on another role as mayor, which is also not 9 to 5. But Derek's always done a lot more than that. He joined the council in 2012 and since then has worked on important local issues like the scrutiny group that looked into houses of multiple occupation, HMOs. He served as Armed Forces champion and has put in many years of service into licensing. And of course, during the last year, he has supported Viv as she served as our mayor. But of course, when we talk about Derek, we have to talk about the Royal British Legion. 22 years as its Winchester chairman, 22 years as the Poppy Appeal organiser. And in that time, he and his colleagues have raised nearly £750,000 for veterans in Winchester and Hampshire and across the country. and 22 years setting up the session where the Mayor of Winchester goes out onto the High Street to collect for the poppy appeal. But I'm not just asking you to vote for Derek because it's time, after 22 years, that he is the one that gets to go out and collect for the poppy appeal. I'm asking you to support him because of his lifetime of service, not just to the people of this city, but also to his country and to the veterans of this country. I can't think of anyone who better deserves the honour of the mayoralty of this city. Fellow councillors, I ask you to join with me in voting to elect Derek as our mayor tonight.
Thank you, Councillor Todd. Can I now call upon the seconder for the mayor, Councillor Lucille Thompson?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Deputy Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, honoured guests and fellow councillors, it is with great pleasure that I'm standing here today to second the proposal that Derek Green becomes the 823rd Mayor of Winchester. And it is also with great pleasure that I propose that Sheila Green is Derek's escort. A lot is often known about the personality around the mayor for obvious reasons, but little about the escort. And this is the time to put that right. Just like Derek, Sheila also spent her early years in Stanmore, attending Stanmore Primary School, before joining Westgate, followed by Peter Simmons. She then went on to what is now the Solent University in Southampton, where she studied business. A short 2-year spell living in the Middle East, because that's where her parents were, led Sheila to take up a secretarial job before heading back to Winchester. Like Derek, Sheila has had a variety of jobs along the way, and for the last 3 years has worked for the local letting company Martin & Co, where she is an accounts manager. And I know that Sheila is delighted that some of her work colleagues are in the audience tonight. This is a full-time job, and I know that Sheila is just a little apprehensive about the year ahead and how she will manage to fit in all the engagements. And between you and me, I suspect there might need to be a bit of juggling. But it was at one of those jobs along the way when Sheila met Derek. Sheila was working behind the bar at the Black Boy pub in Winchester at the time, and Derek was a customer. They had a short courtship, and whilst it wasn't exactly love at first sight, they were engaged after just 6 weeks of their first meeting. 18 months later, and they were married. They have now been married for 32 years and have a son, Joshua, who is with us tonight, and a grandson, Oscar, who they look after from time to time. And I think I can see him in the audience too. I asked Sheila what she thought was the secret to a long and happy marriage. And her reply was, make sure you both do jobs that take you out of the house at different times of the day. And of course, we've just heard that Derek has worked the night shift at Tesco's for 19 years now, and during the couple's long marriage has never had a sort of 9-to-5 job. They also have very different interests. Whilst Derek is a keen rugby enthusiast, Sheila is a football fan and holds a season ticket at Southampton. She enjoys nothing better than going to watch her team at every opportunity, mostly with Joshua. I wonder whether she'll have time to do this during the busy mayoral year ahead. Sheila, you are going to have a fabulous year. You'll be travelling the length and breadth of our lovely district, finding out about all sorts of organisations and, most importantly, meeting the people behind them. I know we all look forward to hearing all about your adventures in a year's time. Sheila, I know will be an excellent escort to our mayor, and I'm delighted and honoured to recommend her to you. And I'm very pleased to second the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Can I now put the motion to the meeting that Councillor Derek Green be elected Mayor of the City of Winchester for the period commencing 18th of May 2022. Is that agreed? Agreed. Thank you, members.
Who goes first? Can't remember.
I don't know.
The Wainfleet Singers will now perform a short selection of songs in celebration of tonight's proceedings.
They shall prosper that love. Ladies and gentlemen, please get standing. Right question and
The retiring Mayor, Councillor Vivian Atchwell, will now present the Mayor with the civil regalia. As the items are handed over, pictures of the items will appear on the screen behind me. The first item to be handed over is the mayoral jewel, which dates back to 1924. The next item is the ring, which is only worn on royal occasions or at major cathedral services. The keys to the city are handed over, and also the keys to Abbey House. And the next items to present are for the Mayoress and are the brooch and the bracelet.
I can't do this. Yeah, but that's on 2 pages now. Okay. Yeah.
I now call upon the Mayor to take the declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Derek Green, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Winchester, City of Winchester, hereby declare that I will take said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. Kirkman. Sorry. Deputy Lieutenant, honoured guests, councillors, I would just like to say a few thank yous. Firstly, to you all for coming along tonight, to the Wainfleet Singers, to Sheila for agreeing to be my mayoress, and most of all, to you, the councillors, for allowing me to hold this position. I've chosen 3 charities this year. They are the Winchester Hospice, Trinity Winchester, and the British Heart Foundation. All of my charities have tables in the King Alfred room. In fact, I'm sorry, but they don't because one is not here. But they, please go along and talk to them, and they will explain what they do and how they collect money. I have several engagements coming up for the Mayor's charities, and I would ask you to support them. I've already sold 30 tickets to One Do. I'm not sure why. I think I've got a lot of friends that enjoy gin. But there we go. Yeah, and apart from that, I'm going to keep quiet because apparently I talk too much anyway. So I shall leave it with you for now. Thank you. Yeah.
I now call upon the Mayor to make a presentation to the new Mayor's cadets.
I now call upon Councillor Therese Evans to propose a vote of thanks to the retiring Mayor, Councillor Vivian Atchwell.
Deputy Lieutenant, Mr Mayor, High Steward, honoured guests and fellow councillors. Viv was delighted to be elected the 822nd Mayor of Winchester, a delight that she shared with us all. She was a natural for the press with her ready smile and attendance at so many engagements, over 350, I'm told. In fact, some weeks she even beat the Winchester MP, Steve Brine, for the number of photos published in the Hampshire Chronicle. With Viv, what you see is what you get. Her style is not pompous, but friendly and down to earth. She has been an enthusiastic, hard-working and committed mayor, ably supported by her escort, Siddhartha. At times, pictures speak louder than words, so here are a few snapshots of her exhausting but fun mayoral year. Here she's starting the Winchester Half Marathon, supporting the climate emergency campaign with a group of Spanish visitors who happened to be passing through, and with also the then portfolio holder, the late and much loved former Councillor Linda Murphy. Planting a tree for the Queen's Jubilee with pupils at Stanmore Primary. Collecting for the Poppy Appeal with the Winchester Platoon Army Cadet Force. joining the mayoral team at the cathedral pancake race. But a quick tip, Viv, don't give up the day job and don't even try to eat the much dropped pancake. Here meeting the great and the good, awarding Finn Isles with the rare Cornell Scout badge. The badge is named after Jack Cornell, who was mortally wounded at the Battle of Jutland in 1916. The badge is awarded to those scouts who have shown high character and devotion to duty, as well as great courage and endurance. Well done, Finn. Supporting Ukraine in a packed cathedral, attending the St. George's Day with Winchester District Scouts at the cathedral, attending a charity fundraising Indian mayoral event with Mr. Mayor and the chair of Geeson Twinning, Mr. Mayor being the one on the left. And yet another snap of that evening.
Put that one up there.
Blowing her own trumpet, not that she needs to, and proving that it's not only the Duke and Duchess of Sussex who look good walking under umbrellas in the rain. Viv and Sadaka, thank you so much for all your hard work on behalf of the Winchester District this year and last year. So I'd like to move to propose the motion that the best thanks of the Council be accorded to Councillor Vivian Atchwell for her service to the Council as Mayor during the past year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. I now call upon the seconder of the vote of thanks, Councillor Lucille Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Lieutenant, honoured guests and councillors, I'm delighted to second the vote of thanks to our retiring Mayor, and in particular say a few words about Sudhakar, the Mayor's escort. During the year, I've been lucky enough to have attended some of the events at which the Mayor and Sudhakar have been present, and there is no doubt that he has been a superb escort to Vivian. And what a year they have had. The slide presentation that we've just seen bears witness to the enormous variety of events that they have attended, and seeing the joy on both their faces is just delightful. Always with a smile on his face and a camera in hand, and I'm told that we've only just seen a very small selection tonight, Sudhakar's warm and generous personality has shone through. It is very clear that he has thoroughly enjoyed the year immensely. Sudhakar has loved meeting people, so the year for him has been one of great joy and privilege, attending a huge variety of engagements, from events, as we've seen, at the cathedral, military bases, especially the trip to Worthy Down, where the Mayor signed a new military covenant, and of course supporting local charities. The final flourish was the glittering spectacle of the Bollywood Ball, where we were all treated to a very fine display of Indian dancing and absolutely wonderful food. Sudhakar has been the ideal Mayor's escort, engaging, dependable, supportive and calm in a crisis. And Vivian tells me she couldn't have done it without Sudhakar by her side. Of course, over the past year, Sudhakar has had to give up spending time on all the things that he loves to do, playing squash, racquetball, dinghy sailing in good weather, cooking and gardening, to name but a few. But even though I know he'll be looking forward to having time to take part in all these things again, I know he has no regrets and wouldn't have missed the year for anything. So on behalf of us all, thank you, Sadaka, for being such a wonderful Mayor's escort and for carrying out your duties with such grace. You have given great service to the district and also the council and been a credit to both. I'm very pleased to second the vote of thanks to the 822nd Mayor of Winchester. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. I now put the motion to the meeting that the best thanks of the council be accorded to Councillor Vivian Atchwell for her service to the council as mayor during the past year. Is that agreed? Agreed. Thank you.
The Mayor will now hand the retiring Mayor and the retiring Mayor's escort their badges. As the items are handed over, they'll appear on the screen behind me.
Oh, oops.
That's it, just break it.
Sorry.
Right, where's my next?
The retiring Mayor will now make a short speech in reply.
Deputy Lieutenant, honoured guests, friends, families and fellow councillors. What an amazing year I've had as the 822nd Mayor of Winchester. As Therese Evans mentioned, I've attended at least 350 events throughout the year. Initially some were on Zoom, but thankfully mostly were in person. Some of those included cutting the ribbons to various events, including new housing schemes, a new gym, an edible garden, an art exhibition at a care home. Handing out a number of awards to pupils for special school events, Sports and Scouts Awards, and 65 mayoral awards. A visit to one of Winchester's twinning towns in Gießen in Germany was an absolute delight, wasn't it, Sadaka? We were there about 5 days and they really treated us really nicely. We've also attended a variety of music concerts at Winchester College and plays and dramas both outdoors and indoors at Winchester Theatre and Chesel Theatre. We've given dinners, canapes and drinks to various groups at Abbey House. Started the Clarendon Way Walk, the Hat Fair, various marathons, the Christmas Market, Wickham Music Festival and the 900th Junior Park Run by playing the fanfare on my trumpet. Going to 2 passing out parades at the Army Training Centre and being a special guest at a number of events at Worthy Down Barracks. Meeting royalty and numerous events that were held at Winchester Cathedral, including graduation ceremonies, carol concerts, music nights, and the Peace for Ukraine event. There are many more events I could mention, but I think I'll finish there for now. You can always ask me later in the evening what I've really enjoyed. There's just too many to mention. But apart from the mayoral organised events, I've been supporting my 3 charities, the 8 Foundation, Friends of the Family and Winchester Youth Counselling. Raising this year, we managed to raise over £16,000. It really wasn't easy as there's so many charities out there we can support. So I'm really thankful for everyone that's attended my events and also kindly given different donations. But with the help and support from my charity events team, that just wouldn't have been possible to put on such a varied programme. We had 8 large events throughout the year. At times it was touch and go as to whether some events would go ahead due to the pandemic. We were also selling tickets. It wasn't that easy. But I think my team soon learnt, no matter what, I was determined, one way or the other, for events to go ahead. I think my mum calls it my stubborn streak. I am a Tory after all. Some of the fundraising events included a virtual wine tasting event, a virtual quiz night, murder mystery dinner, barbecue and music from Demi Brass Band, pie and mash, and a 10 kilometres walk. But I think some people told me it was 14 by the time they finished. Someone got that quite wrong. And also a Bollywood night, which you've already heard about. That was a brilliant night. But I just wanted to thank my fantastic team for all your help, for Paula for stepping in. It's especially sad to lose Linda, who was chairman of the committee, but it was really Linda that encouraged me to stand as the mayor. Now, thank you for that. The saying goes that behind every man, there's a good woman. But I think I'd like to change that tonight. I think behind every mayor, there's a good team. In fact, an amazing team. Debbie, I'm sure you're here somewhere. Debbie, in the office, you've done a fantastic job making certain I was at the correct venue at the right time. And even if I wasn't quite sure, I could ring you up at any time, even on the weekend. You just make sure I was at the right place. You organised my chauffeur and just made sure when I got to the event, I needn't have worried because you had it all organised for me. And also to Anne for the endless cups of tea. When I was in between events, just popping into Abbey House, you were there just helping me, making me relax, and also helping at Abbey House when making events run smoothly. I couldn't have managed without both of you. So thank you both for your help and support. So thank you so much. I would also like to thank everyone who came to my charity events or gave a donation, especially my fellow councillors. Some of you turned up at every single event, and I'm really thankful for that. To former mayors, you've been a brilliant support. Thank you all so much. You can relax now, because I won't be twisting your arms to attend any more of my events.
No, I will.
But beware, I'm on Derek's events team, so I might still be asking for you to come along. The one thing I've never been keen on, to be honest, has been public speaking. Talking to someone one-to-one or in a small group, that's fine with me. I don't mind that. But chairing the full council meetings at the beginning of my mayoral year, they've given me many sleepless nights. But I shouldn't have worried at all, because help was at hand with Laura and Lisa, just there all the time, just making sure I was kept to the right place. Thank you very much. And also to Philippa, my chaplain, for her thoughtful praises at the beginning of each council meeting. I just want to make a special thanks to Philippa because she's served the Whiteley community for 10 years now, and she's actually going to be retiring and moving on shortly. So thank you very much, Philippa. The support and guidance I've received have been second to none, and it's been a huge privilege to have been guided by Lady Mary Fagan and the Lord Lieutenant of Hampshire, Nigel Atkinson. I always remember the Lord Lieutenant telling me, "You must always accept your first invitation. Never cancel your event, even if something better comes along." I think hopefully I've stuck to that. But I mustn't forget the support I've had from Derek, or Mr. Mayor. Derek, you've been a fantastic support. You stepped in and helped me on many occasions. When I had COVID and I was really down for some time, you were there, just stepping in. Thank you. My charity events, well, you were amazing in a kilt. And dressing up for Burns night and also the Bollywood night, you were outstanding. You really were.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your support.
Well.
It's been a huge honour to go to so many events throughout the district. The welcome I've received has been overwhelming. The number of volunteers that are supporting so many different groups in our district. They're true heroes and truly outstanding. I often say that having been a volunteer myself for over 40 years, you often get a lot more back than what you give. So I'd always encourage anyone to do as much volunteering as you possibly can. A huge thanks to my friends and family for supporting me throughout my year. But one person I cannot not thank is Siddhartha. You're the one person that's been with me every step of the way throughout my year. I certainly couldn't have managed without you. You've made me endless cups of tea, cooked dinner, done some housework, also been They're not just holding my hand, but sometimes having to hold my handbag. I know not your favourite thing. You've been a fantastic support. Thank you very much. But guests, I just can't leave the stage. If you just bear with me 1 minute, there's one thing I just must do.
Oh.
Sorry. One final thing. Last chance I get.
You tuned it in.
Doesn't need to.
Thank you, Councillor Attrell.
Was it that?
The next item of business this evening is the election of the Deputy Mayor to hold the office until the next annual general meeting of the Council. I therefore call upon the proposer of the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Therese Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Lieutenant, High Steward, honoured guests, fellow councillors, and anyone else who doesn't think they fit any of those categories. It is a great honour to propose the motion that Councillor Angela Clear be elected Deputy Mayor of the City of Winchester for the period commencing on the 18th of May.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. I now call upon the seconder of the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Neil Cutler.
Deputy Lieutenant, Mr. Mayor, honoured guests and councillors, I so second the motion that Councillor Angela Clear be nominated as Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cutler. I now put the motion to the meeting that Councillor Angela Clear be elected Deputy Mayor of the City of Winchester for the period commencing the 18th of May 2022. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
The Mayor will now present the Deputy Mayor with her badge, and the Deputy Mayor will sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office.
Didn't like that badge anyway.
The next item of business this evening is for the election of leader of the council, and I now call upon the proposer, Councillor Thompson, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Lieutenant, honoured guests and councillors. As many of you know, I'm stepping down from the role of leader of the council, and it is my great pleasure to be proposing my friend and colleague, Councillor Martin Todd, as our new leader. But before I do so, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say a few words. I have had the honour of leading Winchester City Council for the last 3 years, and indeed the Liberal Democrat group on the council now for a total of 7 years. And during that time, we have moved from under 40% of the seats on the council to the present 60%. So after a hugely successful recent election campaign, I have decided to step aside in those roles, as I believe the time is right for a new person to take on the challenges and opportunities that we have as a council. And I am confident that we have many talented councillors who can do just that. I very quickly learnt back in those early days how useful it would have been had I had a qualification or even training in HR, because managing a large group of individuals has sometimes been a real challenge. But in all seriousness, it has been an honour and a privilege to have led the City Council for the last 3 years. I have been proud of all the hard work and commitment of my fellow Cabinet members over the years and what we have achieved, especially with the challenge of COVID. Of course, we politicians are only as good as the organisation that sits behind us. And I'm very pleased to say that under Laura Taylor's leadership as Chief Executive, who sadly isn't with us tonight, the staff and officers of our City Council are amongst the best. They have been supportive and professional at all times. Their commitment to ensuring our district continues to be one of the best places to live, work and play is absolutely outstanding. And in recent challenging times, they have shown great resilience and the ability to adapt quickly to changing circumstances, as we've all had to do. They have done this with good grace. I would especially like to thank publicly Mary, who's been my PA for the last 3 years, making sure I was in the right place and at the right time and looking after me. Indeed, my heartfelt, grateful thanks goes to each and every one of our officers and staff for their help and support in the most challenging of times, both for our communities and for us all personally. I have had a wonderful time as leader, and who would have guessed that when I started out as a councillor some 30 years ago, that I would actually have had the opportunity to lead a council. It has been a great privilege and a truly wonderful experience. I'm particularly proud that we built a stunning new leisure centre during the pandemic, that we've cut our carbon footprint by a third, and that we continue to build much needed council homes. I would also like to thank my group for giving me the opportunity and putting their trust in me to carry out the job. Your friendship, loyalty and support over the years have been very much appreciated. And in stressful times, it has been that bedrock of support that I've drawn on, which has given me the strength to carry on. We are a great team, and I know that you will do the same for our new leader. Finally, I would like to thank my family for their help and support and guidance. And I know that they are looking forward to seeing a bit more of me, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I now have great pleasure in handing over the baton and proposing that the new leader of Winchester City Council is Councillor Martin Todd. He hardly needs any introduction, but of course we all know that he's been a hard-working councillor in the city for many years now and was largely the architect of our recent election victory. As one of my Cabinet colleagues, he has been responsible for delivering a whole range of initiatives, including one of the fastest growing recycling levels in the county, and of course the pedestrianisation of the square, which I know took many hours to sort out. Martin is a close friend and ward colleague, and I look forward to working with him for many years to come. I hope you will support him as the next leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for the motion, please? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Is that all agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Councillor Todd is duly elected as leader of the council.
The Mayor will now present the leader with the leader's badge. Councillor Todd, if you come up this way to join us on stage, thank you.
Pass it in now.
I now call upon the leader to announce the deputy leader and other members of cabinet.
Deputy Lieutenant, Mr Mayor, honoured guests, councillors, I would like to announce the following appointments. The councillor's deputy leader and cabinet member for community and housing will be Councillor Paula Ferguson. The cabinet member for the climate emergency will be Councillor Kelsey Lerney. The cabinet member for business and culture will be Councillor Lucille Thompson. The cabinet member for finance and value will be Councillor Margot Power. The cabinet member for place and the local plan will be Councillor Jackie Porter. The cabinet member for service quality will be Councillor Russell Gordon-Smith, and I will also act as cabinet member for asset management. I would like to very much thank Lucille for her leadership over the past 7 years as our group leader and 3 years as council leader. And I know that I speak on behalf of Lucille and myself in particularly wanting to thank Councillor Neil Cutler, Councillor Angela Clear, Councillor Hannah Williams for all their work and service as part of the previous cabinet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leader. Members will have in front of them a table of the committees referred to at agenda items 8 and 9. These set out the nominations for the membership and chairpersons of those bodies, and I ask, can these be collectively agreed?
Members, is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
May I now call upon the leader to propose and the deputy leader to second the various resolutions as set out at agenda items 10 and 11, please, together with the appointment of the memberships as listed on the table in front of members.
Mr Mayor, I so move the resolutions.
Councillor Ferguson, do you wish to second the motion, please? Thank you.
Members, is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. May I now take the opportunity to welcome back our returning members after the election. And a special mention to our new members who are Councillor Malcolm Wallace, who was elected in the Central Meon Valley ward, Councillor Mark Reach, who was elected in the St Michael's ward, Councillor Neil Bolton, who was elected in the Upper Meon Valley ward, Councillor Anne Small, who was elected in the Whiteley and Shedfield ward. Councillor James Batho was elected in the St Barnabas ward, and Councillor Jackie Porter to the Worthies ward, and both were unable to attend this evening's meeting. A warm welcome to you all. I shall now present certificates to retiring councillors in recognition of their service to the community and previous members of Winchester City Council. Please may I meet you both at the foot of the stage. Right. I now call upon former councillor Roger Bento, please. Roger is receiving this certificate in recognition of his service to the communities of Whiteley and Shedfield, where he was a member for between 2016 and 2022. And I now call upon Councillor Lawrence Rafael to the stage. Yeah, he's here. Lawrence is receiving his certificate in recognition of his 16 years service between 2006 and 2022 to the communities of the previous Osselbury and Courage ward until 2016 and the Upper Meon Valley ward. Please can I now also record our thanks to the retiring members who were unable to attend this evening. Anne Weir served the communities of St Barnabas Ward for 10 years since 2012 and was also a member of the Cabinet between 2019 and 2020. Malcolm Prince served the communities of the Worthies Ward for 6 years since 2016 and was also a member of the Cabinet between 2019 and 2021. That being the last item of business, the annual meeting of the Council is now closed. Okay.